Welcome friends on my channel Read Along with me. Today we are reading this book. Distinction number 5. Millionaires work for profits, the middle class works for wages. People who work for wages end up earning enough to live on, but not much more. It is rare for someone to make enough money from an hourly or salary position to become financially free. Millionaires understand this and choose to work for profits instead of wages. Wages are the pay you receive for the work you do. Profits are the results of buying something for one price and selling it for a higher price. Millionaires are in the sales business. If you depend on wages of your incomes for your income, then your income will always be extremely limited. If you learn to earn profits, then the sky is the limit. It has been said that over 90% of the people who make more than $1 lakh a year are in some form of sales. I believe this is true. All of my multimillionaire friends and mentors work for profits. Not one of them work for wages. Here is short summary of my personal experience with profits and wages. When I was in elementary school, I sold cinnamon flavored toothpicks for to other kids. I would buy a bottle of cinnamon oil from a local pharmacy, soak toothpicks in it each evening, take them to school the next day, and come home with cash. The bottle of cinnamon oil cost less than $10. It took me a couple of weeks to use it up and sell all the toothpicks. I can remember making about $20 profit in about 2 weeks. Not bad for an elementary school kid. In middle school, my parents would give me $3 a day for lunch. On the way to school, I would buy 30 large sticks of gum from a convenience store for 10 cents a piece and sell them for 25 cents each when I got to school. Do the math. I turned $3 into $7.5 before lunch each day. Then I used $1 to buy milkshake for lunch and would come home with $6.5. Somehow, when I was in high school, the conditioning of society got to me and I went to looking for a job because that's what everyone said I should do. For nearly 10 years, I worked for wages and was never satisfied with the money I made. It always bothered me when I saw the amount of taxes taken out of each paycheck. During those 10 years, I did buy and sell a few other things to make extra money once in a while. For instance, after high school, I took up golf. I can remember going to golf courses with friends and wading in the shallow ponds for golf balls. We would find a few hundred balls in only a couple of hours. I would I would sell them the next day to a used golf club shop. My friend and I would make $40 to $50 each for just 2 hours of work. That was big money for me because my jobs only paid $5 an hour. Nowadays you can buy golf balls at Walmart that has been retrieved from ponds. I was on to a $1 million idea way back then, but didn't know it. I made thousands of dollars over the next couple of years selling lost golf balls. Meanwhile, I kept working for wages because my middle class mentality told me that was what I was supposed to do. My family was in the low end of the middle class. My dad sold auto parts to small garages around town and rarely made more than $25,000 a year. I expressed to him how unhappy I was with making such a small amount of money. He suggested that I start an auto parts route in a nearby town. He said I could take more than my job now paid with less work. I never liked the auto part businesses, so I didn't take his advice. I kept working odd jobs until I found one working at a golf course as a cart attendant. It was the perfect job. I earned $5 an hour plus a few tips, and I could look for golf balls while waiting for the carts to be returned in the evening. I was averaging $8 an hour plus the golf balls money. I did this for a couple of years, and during the time, my golf game greatly improved. I was shooting in the 70s and decided to become a golf pro. This was when the Ladies Professional Golf Association was just about to open their headquarters in Daytona Beach. I applied for the apprentice position working in the pro shop and got it. My wage was now $8 an hour, but I didn't get tips or have time to look for golf balls. So my income remained the same. I didn't care though, because I was going to be a pro and make big bucks, or so I thought. I took the PGA test for my pro card a couple of times but never broke 80. My nerves couldn't handle it, so I set my sight on being a club pro. I sat down with the club pro at the LPGA course where I worked and asked him how long before I would start making good money. He busted my bubble when he said, Keith, I'm going to be honest with you. You're going to have to pay your dues. It will take at least 5 or 6 years before you can move up. I felt sick when I heard that. I was not willing to wait 5 or 6 years before making more money. Once again, I went whining to my dad. This time, he suggested something I decided to try. He recommended I sell R12 Freon for car air conditioners. This was when the government was taxing R12 Freon heavily and the prices were going up like crazy. He said I could buy cakes of Freon for $180 and sell them for 200 or 210. Dad was right. I bought a few cakes to try it and sold them right away. A few weeks later, the prices for Freon in all retail stores went to 250 a keg yet, and my wholesale price only increased to $200. I would sell a couple of cakes, make $100 in a few hours, and then take the rest of the day to go to the beach. I had one customer who would buy 10 cakes at a time, so every few weeks when he would order, I would make $500 in a day and take the rest of the week off to play and have fun. Boy, was I stupid. I was stupid for two reasons. One, because I could have made a lot of more money back then, and two, I thought this was going to last. It did. It didn't. After a few months, the prices of the Freon has escalated to $500 a keg. The people who had it were the big companies that stocked up on it, and they weren't wholesaling any. As fate would have it, I went to an auction one night just for fun. I saw things being sold for what seemed to be incredibly low prices, especially furniture. I started buying items at auctions and taking them to the flea market and reselling them. Going to the auction each week, I came to know a man who owned a used furniture store. He drove nice trucks, owned a boat, and lived in a big house on several acres of land. I thought he was rich because I was so poor, although in reality he was just at the higher end of the middle class. Seeing his success, I realized I needed to open my own used furniture store, and that's exactly what I did. Up until that point, my income had never been more than $20,000 a year. Immediately, my income almost tripled. I earned over $50,000 the first year I owned the furniture store. A year after opening the store, I got married. Driving around one day, I noticed a going out of business sign in the window of a small furniture store. I stopped to inquire if the location was going to be available because it was a much nicer place than where my store currently was. I learned the building would be available the following month. The man who owned it was next door and could tell me about the lease. So I walked over and made the plan. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that the rent was only $100 per month and I was now paying. I called my wife and told her we were moving our business. Originally, we were going to open the same type of store selling higher end used furniture, but in the course of talking to the owners who were moving out, we found out that their business was more successful than ours. So we decided to copy what they had been doing, which was selling brand new bedroom sets, day beds, and futons. Our income went up to about $70,000 the first year we were there. During the course of owning that little store, I met the man whom I bought a futon frames from. He owned two futon stores and seemed to be doing very well with them. The first time my wife saw his store, she thought we should stop selling bedroom sets and daybeds and only sell futons like he was. I resisted at first, but after a month or so, I decided to give it a try because we were already selling 10 futons for every one bedroom set and daybed. Guess what? We had found a niche in the industry and our income went up again. We were earning about $1 lakh a year. I have left our several details and the story keeps going. But I'll end it now by saying we started investing in real estate. We bought 7 properties within a couple of years and reached a net worth of over $1 million. Had I continued working for wages at the golf course, I might have been making $12 an hour, which is barely $20,000 a year after the taxes were taken out. You see, when you work for wages, they can only increase gradually. When you work for profit, you have the potential of increasing your income dramatically in a short time. I haven't worked for wages in almost 10 years now, and I never plan on working for wages again. If you want to become a millionaire, you must learn to work for profits. Millionaires work for profits, the middle class work for wages. Tomorrow we will meet again on Read Along with Me. Bye.